SacTown Movie Buff Television. Once again, it's your host, Kier the Critic.
And
today,
I'm Bunny Stewart. Thank you for having me.
Always a pleasure to have you as a co-host. And today in the studio, we have the owner and operator of the Oogley Theater, as well as EMH Productions, Elise Hodge. How are you doing today?
Very well. Thank you for having me. It's lovely to be here. Appreciate it.
No, it's always a pleasure to talk with you. You do a lot of things in the community, and that's kind of really why I wanted to have you on the show, because I really like talking with individuals that are, you have a theater, you do movie productions, things of this nature, and so that's kind of one of the reasons why I really wanted to sit down and kind of find out a little bit more about how you got into some of these things. Like, how did you get into directing?
Oh my goodness. That actually started when I spent some time in Los Angeles, quite a long time ago now. It feels like just yesterday in some ways, but I began starting with a theater in Los Angeles called Theater 68.
Okay.
And I got into directing theater first, but I was also working in a casting office and freelance a lot of the time. And so that kind of kept opening my eyes more and more towards film. So I had a little bit of both worlds going on. And I got to get my feet wet directing mostly in the theater first, and then wanted to sort of just run with it. And I started doing little short things here and there, film and theater, and dove in and just had a great time with it. So yeah, it was super fun to get involved. Yeah.
Very good stuff.
That's fantastic. And I know that they're very different in the way that you interact with. There's a live audience in theater, and then the film, is the camera, so you can do a few takes. Do you have different favorite things about each theater and film? I'm imagining you
really good question.
do. Or do you prefer theater over film?
I don't. I think what it is to me is they're both beautiful ways to tell a complicated story.
Right.
And they both have such amazing ways to go about doing that. And with your live theater, you have that one shot, like you said, where you have to tell the story from A to Z, and you got one shot to do it and tell everybody the big thing, right?
No mess ups.
No, that's why live theater gets interesting, because But that is one of the things that I do love about it, is the challenge of making sure everybody can tell the story from the beginning to the end and take the audience on that beautiful ride. But it's also the same thing in film. You still have to tell the story A to Z. You just get a lot more time and, like you said, takes to do that.
Yes.
Also a lot more locations.
Yeah, that is true. Versus one venue versus,
Exactly.
Well, unless you're a traveling theater group, I guess, in that case.
Yeah. So I think that they both just... There's so many similarities, and yet in the end you have very different products, because with your film, obviously, you have the thing that you can go back to over and over and over again. Whereas with theater, it is a one-time experience, and that's one of the things I always tell my actors on opening night, is that this is opening night and this is closing night.
Right.
You need to have the same energy, because this is your one shot to tell this group of people this story.
Right.
And that's it. You don't get take 20.
Yeah, definitely not.
They aren't going to stick it in the DVD player and watch it again.
There's no cuts.
Exactly.
Can I read you that line?
Editing. Yeah, there's no editing.
What's been kind of fun working at the Oogley Theater the way I have is that during the very early stages of the pandemic, I installed a 3-camera setup, so it runs very much like a studio like we have here.
Right.
And so when we live stream, you do get a little bit of a TV feel with it.
Right, but it's still live.
But it's still live.
Right.
And that's how they used to do sitcoms, actually, was in that same format.
Right.
So, but it's bringing a little bit of a film element into our theater world, which is kind of cool. And so there are, in some instances, like with original works, because those are not published yet, we are able to share those recordings with the actors who are in the shows, and then they do have a DVD that they can pop in and watch again.
Right.
Oh, fantastic!
Yeah, but for the most part, yes, you have this one time, as I've said, to go for it. Yeah.
So you mentioned the Oogley Theater. How did you transition to even get involved in being, starting the theater? What was that? How did that come about?
So, as I'd mentioned before, I was in Los Angeles working with a theater there, and wanted to start producing and doing my own projects. And LA is not conducive to that when you have a budget of
Nothing.
little tiny,
Yeah.
exactly.
$5.
And exactly. So I started producing theater here and renting spaces and things, and I found Mr. Oogley's theater, the Oogley Theater. He used to live on premises and ran the theater space. It's something he built about 25 years ago. And he and I became good friends. And when he retired, he very kindly offered me the keys to the kingdom and said, I'd love it if you took over. And I was like, oh, yes, please, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely, not a problem, right?
Yeah, because it's also a venue that can expand to not just doing live theater. It is small; it's a 35-seat theater, but I feel like it's a nice jumping-off point
Right.
for people, and that's what I hope to see happen with it. It's and with this live stream aspect, the nice part about it also is people who are established can do their own. Like intimate, acoustic show,
Right.
or like the lovely lady who I remember seeing here. She's a stand-up. She could have her like, I'm gonna do this like intimate comedy night,
Right.
But then she can still have all of her fans watching
Right.
because we have live stream capability.
Right.
So,
Well, I know even like some of like the bigger comics, sometimes like they'll go to like a smaller theater just to like work and work on
Yeah.
rehearse some of their stuff before
Exactly.
they go to like the big Madison Square
Yeah.
Garden and stuff. A lot of times they will start
Yeah.
with like an intimate audience of like 30 people
Yeah.
just to test some things out and okay, that didn't work and that kind of stuff. So I think it's great for that as well.
we have a lovely comedy group that comes in, Funny Business. They come in about
Buddy.
once a
Yeah.
Buddy.
Yeah.
Buddy comes
Yeah.
in and does stuff, and it's been a testing ground for a lot of people so far. So,
Yeah. He's been trying to get me to actually because we've co-hosted a comedy special before, actually with Tess.
Okay.
Before in the past, and so he's been trying to get me to work something out with him,
Nice.
so we've been talking about it. We just are both so busy that it's hard to get us together to sit down.
It
and do
is
something,
when you're
so.
when you're trying to do all the things. It can be hard to make all the things then align correctly as well
yeah.
sometimes. So
Yeah. Very cool. So I know we also have the March Women's and Wit and Wisdom Festival. Can you tell us a little bit
Yes.
about that?
I would
or-
love to talk more about that. So this past year in March, for Women's History Month, we did a women's theater festival. And I was super excited to have that happen just because it was like a kind of one of these things, well, let's see how it goes. And then if it lands, we can do it again next year. Well, it went well. And I want to see, more people become involved with this. It is called the Women's Wit and Wisdom Festival because we don't want to label it necessarily a women's theater festival. It is celebrating women, definitely in women's history. But everyone should participate. Anybody who wants to support the female voice,
Right.
Yeah.
Playwrights, directors, and I'm hoping this next year we can actually add a film element. And have female directors bring their short films, writers, etc.
That would be great.
Yeah, I would love to see
Such
that
a good
happen.
idea.
Yeah.
So because I think we have screening capability there at the theater,
Right.
so I feel like we can kind of expand a little bit and try to incorporate all these different things. I'm hoping to see some beat poets maybe come in and do some work along with the theater productions that we have planned. So we want to kind of turn this into a big celebration of women in general. So,
Very cool.
yeah.
I think it's a great, wonderful thing. Definitely something that I'd like to spread the word about as well.
Thank you.
So
Yes,
yeah,
please.
so
I'd
yeah,
love
just
to
if you send me some
support that.
information, I would love to
definitely
support that
will.
for sure. So
For
yeah, I'll
sure.
definitely
Yeah.
make sure everybody gets the word out on something like that because I think that's
We're
great,
gonna
and
be
we need more
taking-
women directors in this
Yes,
area.
please,
So, yeah.
please. We're definitely going to be I'm taking right now submissions. You can go to submissions EMH Pros. That's EMHPROS, like productions. So submissions EMHPros@gmail.com to send me ideas. Tell me you want to participate. There's a wide range of ways you can be part of the festival. So I
cool.
look to see that happen.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And if anybody wants to get in contact with you directly, whether it be the theater or anything of that nature, what's the best way they can reach you?
So that email, the submissions, emhpros@gmail.com, submissions with an S. All right. You can also email emhpros@gmail.com. That's a couple of different emails you can catch me at. You can find me on Instagram. I believe it's Productions EMH. And then you can also find Instagram with the Oogley Theater. And it is the Oogley Theater with the R-E spelling, not the E-R. So it's the Oogley, TheaTre. Okay.
English.
So, so yes, but those are definitely ways you can always find and get in touch with me.
Well, very cool. Well, I thank
Yeah.
you so much for being on the program. Definitely somebody that, like I said, wanted to talk with. And yeah, I'll definitely look forward to all the future things that you're working on. I think you do a lot of great things in the community, and I think it's a great way to get the word out for what it is that you're doing in the community, so people know that they have a place and a voice where they can go.
A place and a voice, exactly.
Yeah, so very good stuff. So thank you again, Elise. Greatly appreciate it.
Thank you both very
Yeah.
much. It was lovely being here.
Thank you so much. It was great talking to you.
Thank you again for watching another edition of SacTown Movie Buff Television. We'll be back again soon with another episode. Have a great day.